Yes, speedrunning, a hobby people like to watch or do to master a game they like. Now you might be asking yourself, what is speedrunning? Speedrunning is playing games as fast as possible to get the best time or world record. However, did you know that there are actual events speedrunners can go to? Yes, actual real-life events speedrunners can go to, such as ESA, RPG Limit Break, PACE, and GDQ have real-life venues you can actually go to and have a good time with other people. So join me in these series of videos that talk about the history of speedrun events. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to D Cosmic for giving feedback for the script, and Blink for documenting GDQ's drama over the years. Without this video might not have been made. Now, where do we start? Alright, when do we start? Because, my loyal viewers, the events actually got founded in 2009. Now, people think 2009, they think edgy, it's just a phase, emo crap. But in 2009 is when GDQ was founded by a young Mikuyama, and it wasn't until 2010 we actually got a first GDQ livestream at MagFest 8. Now you might be thinking, what is MagFest? MagFest is this nerd convention where you nerd about music, video games, and movies. Now in this event, they actually were streaming some games, specifically Mega Man there, but the internet was so bad over at MagFest 8 they had to move the stream to Mikuyama's basement, specifically his mother's basement, and that's where the OGs actually know it started from. And over the years, they actually got donations in their humble beginnings, such as in 2012 they actually got $20,000 and donated it to the autism research. And in 2013 we actually got this legendary clip where someone was screaming to tell Runner Guy 2049 to stop speedrunning Ocarina of Time so they can talk about their dead relative.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been knitting the entire time I've been here. And I actually learned how to knit from my grandmother. Can you stop? She died of cancer a couple years ago. And there's actually pretty much a 50% chance I'm going to die of cancer. My dad's entire side of his family has died of cancer pretty much. And my mom passed away 2 months ago. So pretty much, this blue is the last blue of my grandmother's that I'm ever going to have to knit with. So it doesn't actually mean something.
But 2013 had its problems because during this time there was a cheating scandal from a guy, or more like a quote-unquote runner named Cody Miller, who was cheating his CCE runs and got accepted into GDQ. But his run was so bad, GDQ had to actually make a policy for runners to not go over the estimated time by an hour. But a year later, 2014, there was this big milestone where they got $1 million in a day, and it ended with the final boss of Chrono Trigger getting killed. But I actually did an interview with Opti Jr., so go take a look.
Just speedrunning in general?
Yeah, what was your history prior to,
Well, I started speedrunning, I think, in 2011, and mostly did Mega Man stuff.
Right.
For a while, and then I started to get into the JRPG stuff, including Final Fantasy IV and Chrono Trigger and that kind of thing, leading up to 2014, and that's when I was asked to do that one.
The other question is how did you feel when the surprise $1 million goal was reached?
Yeah, it wasn't looking like we were getting there the day before.
Yeah.
And then the last day, it just went crazy.
Yeah.
I think we went from 600,000 all the way to 1 million in the last 7 or 8 hours, something like that.
Yeah. 2015 was the year Matt Merkel took over GDQ because the year prior, Mikuyama retired and gave the torch over to Matt Merkel. While management was questionable, there was something to look forward to if you were a God of War fan. There was a new event that was held in Santa Monica Studios. Music, please! Right, it's God of War done quick. It was the year of God of War, and it's 10 years of the video game franchise. Now, the games that were actually there were God of War Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta, God of War 1, 2, and 3. And the developers of those games were there too, alongside the runners who were speedrunning the games. And it's actually interesting to see the developers see their games broken in hell.
Well, I was trying to final 2, when we were in the midst of 2, and Chains of Olympus was being made with Freddy at Dawn.
I've heard of them.
Rue was directing that one, so
I've heard of him.
I did not get as much time that I would want to spend with those guys as I did spend with the team on Ghost of Sparta, but they did a pretty awesome job on this game.
So,
Okay, so here you go.
Look at
What's
that.
going on here?
This is
He's dancing.
This is called the infinite jump glitch. It's pretty much you see that when I'm on the air, Kratos just pulls off the magic, and he just the green thing goes out. That means that I have glitched out the magic. So every time I'm on the air, I just cancel the ascension that Kratos does by pressing triangle. And pretty much as it's glitched, you can do the ascension every time you want by just doing the thing. Yeah, the ascension is like
So he's breaking your game. Just what you wanted.
Yeah.
and also what I used to move in this game is called roll cancel. It's done by just pretty much you just hold the right stick and just change weapons all the time. Oh wow, I failed it. Okay.
And that was kind of a big tenet of what we were doing, is being able to empower the player to be able to cancel, block cancel, jump cancel, roll cancel, anything. And I guess this is the side effect of empowering the player.
Giving them freedom.
This
they're
is the
like,
unintended thing
"What
that we
up,
were trying
man?"
to make it better, and we actually help screw everything up.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is gonna come like the first big skip, and well, it's really hard to do, and well, if I fail it, well, don't care. It's just.
I
You don't
like
care
that.
if you
I
fail?
like that attitude. Yeah, whatever.
You know,
It's
whatever.
good.
I'm only getting watched by 4,000 people right now.
SGDQ 2015 was a mess, and this was due to the fact that a young GamePro 11 was doing Crash to Cortex Strike Back 80% game over use, and the jokes were just domestic abuse and suicide jokes, which were funny at first, but came stale over time.
We're committing suicide. Don't try this at home. Neutral slide spin. It makes you go slightly faster, and by the way, is about 8 inputs per second. Don't try it at home, but I like to pleasure my controller.
And after the run was over, he was permanently banned by GDQ staff. And the aftermath was him getting clinically depressed for several years. But before this, he was actually shunned by friend groups. I actually did an interview with him, so let's take a look.
Basically, I started running other games like Sonic Heroes, and then I got into Crash 2 and Rayman 3 around 2014-ish, and Spyro Heroes Tale and Crash Twinsanity. I was kind of all over the place. But I got a lot of records in Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Heroes. Now many of them have been beaten like long over, but I mean, I guess that's the best way that you could put it. I was more of a lab person that just ended up getting records initially, I guess. I would say the first thing that happened was I was called to the front desk. We were at White Castle. I don't know why we were at White Castle, but we were at White Castle. And we heard that they wanted me to go to the front desk. And when I went to the front desk, I just got yelled at and berated by Clage. And if anybody knows anything about GDQ and knows about Clage's history, yeah, it was publicly being yelled at. And I remember very specifically during like this rage. I mean, I was on the verge of tears. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was on the verge of tears. There were people there. And I remember he said, if you need help, we can help you. we have people for that. But if you come down to this floor, we will call security on you. I remember that very, very implicitly. And that was the first thing. The second thing that happened was immediately after my run, I let some other runner use my PS2 console because it was a European PS2 console. I was like, he needed to use it, so why not? And after that, being threatened that if I go down to the bottom level, because SGDQ 2015 was on the basement floor. It wasn't on the ground floor. It was on the basement floor. And because they said, if you go down there, we're calling security on you, I had a lot of trouble getting my console back. And actually, I don't know if it was a staff, which I would assume it would be the staff because the only people handling the console would be the staff members. It took my cables, like my audio video cables, which had S-Video. I really liked those cables, and I had to buy a new set because of that. And I wasn't allowed to go down there. And I also remember, I'm not sure if Rom Scout is necessarily, well, he was at the time, but he was also a Twitch staff member. And I had some issues with getting my account unbanned because my account got banned. Supposedly to protect me from the masses, I had some issues with getting it unbanned because they never said explicitly that it was because of what happened, but rather they said to protect me from the masses. That was their words, not mine. And I was also IP banned, which took me like another half a year to get that sorted out. So it was like an entire year of like having issues, even just watching Twitch. Outside of that, I can't really recall if there were any issues with staff members, but nowadays, like, I actually went to, or I was going to try to go to SGDQ, I think it was last year, and I sent messages like, hey, look, I know I did some things, blah, 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 and they were like, who the hell are you? So I don't think that nowadays that would even be an issue. But I have since, like, I said I was gonna, like, if you need me to, like, do public apology and whatnot, I would be fine with that. And they were just like, who the hell are you? That is a loaded question. Because it wasn't entirely to get away from that. Because, mind you, they misnamed me at GDQ as GamePro 11, which I had a 0 in front of it, in front of the 11. And, well, everybody had been calling me GPro even since before I became a speedrunner. All of my Xbox Live friends would call me GPro. So it was 2010, and it just made sense that I would change it to GPro. But I couldn't get that name, so it was changed when we were able to, like, actually freely change our names. So I changed it to GPro because nobody calls me GamePro except for, like, very, very specific people that knew me back when I was, like, in the speedrunning community back in 2013-ish. And most people would just naturally call me GPro. So it didn't really necessarily have anything to do with trying to separate myself, but rather to kind of embrace the fact that everybody just calls me GPro. It's easier to read, it's easier to, like, say, blah, blah, blah. But it was an underscore. Now, the I am GPro thing, the reason why I became that was because of a joke, actually. I wanted to get rid of the underscore, but GPro on its own has been an inactive account. So I still wanted to be GPro, and I am GPro just kind of fit the bill. But it comes actually from a joke that I did entering an essay, a Sonic Adventure DX race, where I named myself I Am Here Olo. And, of course, there were people that knew who I was. I just wanted to make a joke. I won the race, and then I revealed, like, oh yeah, I'm GPro, by the way. And I kind of used that small joke as, like, an I am. to basically just add to G Pro because it just makes sense. You wouldn't read it as EMG Pro. You'd read it as I am G Pro. And you could still tell I'm G Pro. So it was more like just a joke thing rather than anything else. Oh. I mean, first of all, understand, like, you're not in private quarters. Understand that you are in front of an audience that may or may not be tolerant to certain ideas or whatnot. So you should leave anything you would do in private completely out of GDQ. And all of your commentary and all of the stuff that you might say amongst friends. Because we might say some things that are a little bit risque amongst friends. Know that you are in the public eye and you're in a more formal setting, so it is not a good idea. And I learned this firsthand. I really paid for that. Not understanding the situation I was in, and just understand where you are and understand that if you do make a mistake, you can recover from it. Just learn from it if something happens. But if not, just make sure that you just understand. You're not just there representing your game. You're also representing the company or the organization at which you are showcasing on. Understand that, because it's not a good idea to say something that might cause them problems. That is pretty much what happened to me. Just do something, don't cause other people problems. And if you do, apologize to the right people and make sure that you learn from it.
GDQ was actually pretty interesting during 2016 due to the fact that AGDQ was coming up in January, and a month prior, Cinnamon Bun actually made a tweet saying, "You guys are alright, do not go to AGDQ 2016 in January." This was because he was associated with a sociopath named Ski Craze City who was giving out death threats to the organization. Now, the run that Private Cinnamon was doing, Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, did pretty well, but a joke he made where he said,
right from the start, I'm going to double trigger. Trigger warning, by the way.
Kind of made someone have the cold shoulder towards him during the end of the run. SGDQ 2016 was actually pretty good because there was a new game introduced at SGDQ. The game in question was Sonic 2006. So why Sonic 06? Isn't that a bad game? Well, depending on what you think, yes, it can be a bad game, but the run is actually pretty interesting because it uses certain tricks to cut down on time. And the runner in question who did this run was Triple Agents.
And Cora's Knuckles. I'm like, oh my god. So he has glitch hunted so much into this game. Almost every single trick was found by that man, right? And so whenever we think we found something new, right? Like we found a new clip, we found a new glitch. We asked Darkspine Sonic, we're like, hey yo, have you seen this before? And he's like, oh yeah, of course. And so we have never, I think, we have never found like a big glitch that he's never seen before. So I hope that that was it. I've never seen anything like that, but if we can stump the man himself. Also, there's a really cool clip behind here because everything is solid behind this wall. So let's see. There we go. Yeah, so you can get behind the door. Cool.
Now we're going to the fourth. Excuse me. Mock speed section. Again, one of the easier ones. It's really not too bad. There's kind of some scary jumps and platforming you have to make, but if you have the proper lineup, it's not too bad. Yeah. And again, once again, just abusing the Trail of Rings, trying to get as much momentum from the light speed dashes as possible. And we're actually going to do we're going to skip this ramp and go ahead and go run on the wall and save a little bit of time.
I swear, if this run would have been like a sub 1, and then I got that weird soft lock thing. What a good way to go out. Still though. So yeah, even though Sonic dies in water in every other stage, you can do that and run on water perpendicular to perpendicular gravity. The waterfall's going up. It's great.
that's pretty much it for the stage. Just going to jump across these rocks, go to the end, and that is Kingdom Valley.
Nice. So, quick shout out to this game's soundtrack, actually. Like, have you heard the music playing before? I don't know if that was like on the speakers, but there's like the pause music.
Now I want to talk about a controversy that happened at the end of SGDQ 2016, and that is the Bonesaw controversy. The Volta 577 controversy was kind of big due to the fact that even though he did the Jack and Daxter run, which was pretty good, the controversy stemmed from the fact that he was doing Owen Wilson jokes and the Air Canada joke.
Much like Owen Wilson lives with his car keys.
Wow, these keys are great.
Wow. Jumped into the fire. Wow. Run, I said, if I screw something up, please send tweets to Air Canada. Well, Air Canada hates us. They really do. Don't do that.
We are getting confirmation from GDQ staff that you should indeed not do that.
Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what's so bad about that? Well, he got banned from that event temporarily. He could not actually go and submit many runs. So what happened was the next year that I'm going to talk about, there's something worse that GDQ did to him. Before we move on, I actually want to talk about that GDQ actually apologized to the official Air Canada Twitter, but Air Canada Twitter didn't know what they were talking about in the first place. 2017 for GDQ was actually pretty good because they did an event called Hurricane Harvey Relief Done Quick, where they actually did a charity that helped the victims of Houston, Texas during Hurricane Harvey, where the runners would stay at home and speedrun games they wanted to play. SGDQ 2017 was a mixed bag because of the fact that while Bonesaw did return, Maddie hesitating to put him on the couch during the Silent Hill event, but he reluctantly agreed to make sure that he was there at the Silent Hill event, but he had to make sure there was no Owen Wilson, no Air Canada, none of that. So he actually agreed, he was on the couch the entire run, but the problem was after the run because they did a photo shoot, and as I said, the controversy also stemmed from the fact that it was cropped from the photo shoot after it was posted on GDQ's social media page. Controversy of SGDQ 2017 didn't stop there because the Ape Escape 2 run was happening, and who was on the couch? Private Cinnamon Bun. And the reason why he was there is because of Iron Baldy, and he was doing the run. But there was something going on in the back of the couch because the fact someone had a backpack of MAGA hats and the Ape Escape siren helmet. Now you might be asking, what's with the MAGA hats in the backpack? Well, apparently they had the MAGA hats on as like some sort of political joke, but the siren helmet was given to Private Cinnamon Bun because of the run being Ape Escape 2. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what happened afterwards? What happened afterwards is because of the controversy Private Cinnamon Bun was in, and that was the fact that the staff yelled at him for having a MAGA hat when he was supposed to, even though the live stream said there was nothing there, and he was wearing the siren helmet from Ape Escape. And to add a wound to this pretty shitty debacle he was in, he actually got accused of calling out a power strip by Kotaku. Yes, fucking Kotaku! The end of 2017 wasn't that bad though because GDQ earned $2 million and gave it to the Cancer Foundation. 2018 was an interesting year for GDQ because the SGDQ of that year, they were doing Ninja Gaiden Black and the runner being Mike Canvas. Now, the run itself was actually pretty good, pretty decent on that, but at the end game, he said this to a boss character.
Very important luck-based things, and one of them will be happening with this soy boy right here.
And it made Twitter mad due to the fact that, well, he said the term soy boy, which apparently is a homophobic / transphobic slur to them, and one of the tweets, and I quote, "It was fun until your runner said the homophobic / transphobic slur soy boy," and he actually apologized. He didn't know it, which I think is just stupid because it said a boss character. Things got weirder from here because on r/speedruns, the founder Matt Merkel actually posted on the subreddit that he wanted to do a private blacklist for dangerous people, which I think was an okay idea on paper, but kind of sloppily made it so organizers can have so many or so little context when banning the person preemptively. During the same year, GDQ actually made a new event called Games Done Quick Express, which would help 10 charities, and it raised up to $139,879 at that time, which I think is pretty interesting. This same event will actually come back again next year. 2018 did not come without any controversies, however, because this first one had to do with Lobos del Fuego, a Dark Souls and Fallout 4 runner who got banned by GDQ because he had an edible which helped him with his chronic pain. And this was so bad because of the fact that he was diagnosed with cancer as a teenager, and it was actually medically prescribed to him to help with the pain. The end of 2018 for GDQ was actually pretty bad because of the fact that there was a controversy going on with runners Our White Goose and Graviton because they were saying some anti-Semitic things in the private Discord, and GDQ didn't want him to get banned because of the fact that, well, it was outside of speedrunning context, but Twitter was so fucking mad that they had to cave in and ban them. 2019 for GDQ started out pretty well because they did Games Done Quick Express, which raised up to $152,595 for the Ableist Gamer Foundation. Now, there was also the 10-year anniversary of the event, where they did Classic Games Done Quick, where they played a lot of classic games during this time. However, 2019 for GDQ went downhill from here because they had two controversies. One was the Caleb Art controversy, where one of the staff members essentially accused him of doing some inappropriate things to her, which Caleb debunked in these tweets. And the other, well, it was essentially a speedrunner named Shift who was scheduled to showcase SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom that was preemptively banned. It's because of the fact that one of his harassers essentially decided to find an old clip of him from the year prior saying the F word. Shift does go into detail on his harasser and what he did to other people prior to what he did to him to get him preemptively banned.
Just like he'd harass me on Twitch, he'd harass people on Twitter, he'd post clips out of context to try and paint people in a bad light, post like hateful rhetoric against people, go into their chats and harass them, make fun of them. He posted pictures of people in the community asking for their identities. He threatened to show up at my college, which is not actually the college that I went to, but he was like trying to dox me, even though he's horrible at doxing. He tried to figure out which college I went to and threatened to show up and pay me a visit. So all this stuff put together, like, this is before we realized that he was the one who reported it. I reported to Games Done Quick 2 days before I was taken out of the event. Like, hey, these guys threatened in the past to show up at my college, or what they thought was my college, and they've also asked for the identities of people based on pictures. This might be a danger because they said they were going to the event. Even if they're trolling or not, you should probably take caution that these guys might be there trying to harass people. So I showed the enforcement team the Twitter account, and they looked at it and they said, we can't find any identification on here. We can't figure out who this is, and there's no proof for it, so we can't do anything. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Just giving you a heads up. If somebody reports any suspicious behavior at the event, just link it back to this probably, if it has to do with people in the Battle for Bikini Bottom community, because that's who they were targeting. So again, like, I showed the enforcement team this account, which really surprises me that later the same account, not only did they deactivated themselves after I announced that I was banned. They deactivated themselves because I guess they were trying to hide something, but I was able to make a tweet talking about how they deactivated to bait them to unlock the account, and they made this tweet about how they finally got me banned from the event. It was a huge accomplishment and all this. They were like parading around the fact that they apparently got me banned from the event, and this pretty much solidified that they probably reached out to Games Done Quick and reported me for the thing that I said a year ago. And yeah, it's just so sad to see, like, not only people just be this dedicated to trying to ruin someone's life like that, but also just like, I can't believe that Games Done Quick didn't put together the fact that, like, the Twitter account that I reported a few days earlier for the possibility of harassment at the event, and then the account goes ahead and reports, this clip. Maybe it wasn't done on the same account, but again, the fact that they deactivated the account, like, during the time when the thing was reported, it's just kind of sketchy to me, man. It just feels like they could have put together that, like, something was going on, like there was some targeted harassment going on toward me.
SGDQ 2019 wasn't even better though, because of the fact that Connor Ace, a cluster truck runner, spliced his runs and got accepted into GDQ, and actually used the splice run during SGDQ live, and he actually got permabanned for it. The problem comes into effect due to the fact that the GDQ run he did was actually deleted from YouTube, and it's actually badly documented, and Apollo Legend is the only one who has documented that run. The end of 2019 for GDQ ended with a bang because of the fact they got $3 million for the first time ever.
And just as fast, we're going to finish it off in style. We haven't mentioned it yet, but the Wonder Shot, it deals a random amount of damage. And we think it would be kind of fun if we finished off the marathon with the Wonder Shot.
2020. Oh my fucking god, 2020. 2020 was kind of bad for GDQ at the start due to the fact they banned a very loved member in the community named Trihex. Now Trihex was known to play some Mario Maker, Yoshi's Island, but what happened is that mirroring what Shift's situation is that he actually got banned, that's right, for saying the F word. However, he did apologize for his stuff, for what happened during that stream, and nobody listened to him because they did not read the fucking apology. However, the shitstorm came ahead more fiercer because of the Luzbel-Heim situation, a beloved Final Fantasy runner the community was runs for FF7, 8, and 9. And you might be thinking, oh, what's his controversy? Well, it's both comedic and stupid. Both comedic and stupid because of the fact that he participated in a Final Fantasy VIII speedrun, but Twitter went apeshit because of the fact that he was associated with a Spanish Republican party named Fox, and the fact that he actually had pronouns being lols, and Makiyama, yes, Makiyama, pulled him over after the run was over to inform lols of the ban. And it's funny because of the fact that it's his pronouns that got him banned. In the spring months of GDQ's 2020 year, he also did the coronavirus relief done quick events to help people who are affected by the virus, raise a total of $632,000 to the direct relief of non-profit organization who does improve lives and poverty in emergency situations by giving them appropriate medical resources. Also, they did their first women's only speedrun event called the Fatale Series, where in the fall they would do runs where women actually would play video games. Now let's fast forward a couple years to 2022, where there was a big cheating scandal that not only damaged the reputation of the Metal Gear Rising speedrunning community, but also a runner's respect. Because during SGDQ 2022, a runner by the name of Mechmersum actually not only spliced the run of the Blade Wolf DLC and submitted it, it also was pre-recorded during the event itself. 2022, after the controversy was up from here for GDQ because they did the Flying Fatales and the Frost Fatales events and raised up to $135,512 for the Malala Fund. Now let's talk about the current state of GDQ. As for me, I think GDQ has gotten better over the years. He's had some really good runs from 2020 to 2024, such as the Demon Souls run in 2020, the Mega Man 11 run for 2021, goddamn fucking Elden Ring for 2022, and as for this year, he had a dog speedrun Gyromite for the NES. So I would say it's going good. However, there can be some problems that need to be fixed and that go unnoticed. Now let's talk about the opinion of GDQ. Well, to me, I think it's okay, and it sits in the middle because it has very good runs, and there are runners who are having really good fun over there. But the issue stems from the fact that they do not have good transparency between the runner and the rulebook and don't tell the runners what the rules are. So I think if they're more transparent towards the runners, then I think it's going to be a really good event. Now let's talk about the runners of the past and where are they now? Well, for GamePro 11, he actually changed his name to IMDPro, and his mental health improved, and speedruns Crash Twinsanity. Onsa also is doing well and does streams on Twitch. Shift is also doing great and still does streams Battle for Bikini Bottom speedruns. Trihax also does streams too, and has still done Mario and Yoshi content. And finally, Private Cinnamon 1, while he doesn't stream, he is part of the DMC speedrunning Discord actually. Before I end this video, I actually want to give a speech that was from a Chrono Trigger runner by the name of Grossly Incondescendent Jasmine.
Well, first off, you're gonna do fine. That's my first thing, is that, like, you know, once you've got in, your run is gonna go great, and if literally everything goes wrong in your run and you still finish, you're still gonna have a wonderful time, and chat is going to absolutely adore it. Other than that, don't let your head, don't let yourself get in your own head about the run. You know, you can do your practice, you can be prepared for the event, but you're still it's still a convention, and you're allowed to have fun, not just be extremely serious. If you know what I mean. I've had some friends get way into their own head and then not be able to have fun, and I've seen people in the SMW ROM hacking community not just lose their minds getting everything prepared, and it's not that deep. You can just go to an event and have fun.
Now, my loyal viewers, I tip my hat and bid you a farewell.